Hey guys, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Andre Siggers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bender and Ash Paulson to discuss all the Smash Bros. Updates from this past week. So let's get started. Alright guys, so even though E3 just happened, Sakurai is not really slowing down with the new details and announcements for Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS, and he showed off a few interesting things this week, and that starts on Monday, with a few new details on the Mii Swordfighter. And he mentions that you'll be able to use 3 different weapons, or you'll be able to choose from 3 different weapons, being the Shurikens of Light, Chakrams, and Gale Strikes. And apparently the Chakram is tied to your side special, which is kind of interesting, which means you can use it with one of the other weapons of your choosing.
I think it just goes to show just how much the customization option is going into with the Mii Fighters especially. Because we have the 12 options already for each of the individual characters, but with the Miis, it feels like there's just that much more. But apparently, as you said, the Chakram is always going to be tied to the side special. It just has different, I'm guessing, capabilities based on which customization you choose. Sort of like Donkey Kong's Punch that we see later in the week, but we'll get to that later, of course. But yeah, interesting concept, but it's hard to really put my head around it as of right now.
Well, it's a little confusing how he describes it, I think, too.
It really is pretty shocking how deep the customization is really going for this game, and I can see why the Wii U version is taking so long to finish. Just because, I mean, there really is a ton of customization in this game, and it's just, especially with the Miis, it seems like it's a whole new level, like you were saying, Derek. And I mean, we're going now to the point where we can select different items for the Miis to use. It is, I think, going to be fun to kind of customize your Mii and kind of, play around with them with friends, but again, it's not something that I can see myself doing seriously, like in serious competition, but I do love all these different options that we're getting.
Well, it seems like with the customization options, we're getting 3 variations. There's always a set thing that's getting varied. With these, it looks like the Shurikens are probably quick but light, don't do much damage. The Chakram sort of mid-range, and the Gale Strike is very short range but possibly very powerful. So it's all about how quickly do you want your character to strike, and how and how much range do you want them to have. That seems to be where the customization comes in, and there seems to be other effects as well, as we can see from the just the fact that it's causing wind with the Gale Strike.
Yeah, that one looks really cool, I think.
What this picture kind of makes me wonder too about the Mii Fighters is, how in Mario Kart or Mario Kart 8, how there are different classes of Mii depending on how big your Mii is. I'm wondering if that'll also hold true for Smash Brothers, such that if you have a really tall Mii, it'll be a heavier character in terms of, getting KO'd, or if it's a smaller Mii, it'll be lighter. I'm wondering if that'll figure in at all.
I hope so, because that would make a lot of sense, actually.
I'd have to take a close look at the Miis themselves to be able to determine that, but based off my memory, I think they've all had the same body type. Now, that might be intentional, of course, not really doing much variation, but it might be they just take your head, stick it on this set body, and then go from there. It seems like that would be the simplest thing to do, honestly.
It would be, but, we've seen Sakurai often not take the simplest route.
True.
That's for sure.
And actually, along those lines, the Chakram thing is kind of interesting in how it's the only one tied to the side special, and he elaborates he can throw the Chakram in any direction and even make a stall in midair, which is kind of unusual. I can't think of any other projectiles that you can just stop. Is this going to hover there and become an airborne obstacle basically, or?
I have no idea. All I can just imagine is it'll stay there for a little bit, or
it pauses briefly, then continues on.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe somebody's trying to dodge out of the way, or somebody tries to dodge and you can pause it there if you can do it immediately. As soon as the dodge animation finishes, you still hit them. Sort of like a trickster weapon almost.
You could sort of do that with Snake's Nikita launcher in Brawl, in terms, if you wanted to turn the missile a bunch of times, it would stall in midair.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it's just really surprising how much detail is even going into these customizable moves.
Yep, absolutely. Alright, well, moving on to Tuesday, we get a picture at a guest character in Smash Run mode, being Dr. Eggman's machine, Eggrobo, and he'll apparently attack you with laser beams. So, yeah, it's kind of cool that they are, just again, bringing in different kinds of characters from all these different franchises. And it's cool to see that they're not neglecting the third-party ones either. Sonic is being represented here.
Well, he's kind of iconic. I don't think I'll ever forget the Eggrobos, mainly because they're from Sky Sanctuary from Sonic and Knuckles, and that was always, even though it was only one stage, it was so cool to be chasing after Eggman, have these robot versions of him everywhere. I don't know. I'll never forget these guys, and I kind of love them for that because they're sort of simple. But we've already had another variation of Eggman's robots being the egg pawns. We have seen those. So this is like an earlier version of those guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. These guys are super iconic as far as, you know, regular Sonic baddies go, and I'm really happy to see them here. And it really, I mean, if there's going to be a trophy for each regular, you know, enemy in Smash Run, we're looking at a ton of trophies for, you know, Smash Bros. 3DS, which is also exciting in its own right. But, yeah, these guys are super iconic, and I think if I had to pick a Sonic enemy myself to, you know, represent in Smash Run, this would be near the top of my list.
So moving on to Wednesday, we get a look at a new mode called Trophy Rush, and it sounds like it might be replacing the coin launcher game from Smash Bros. Brawl. But unfortunately, Sakurai's a little bit light on the details, really only showing a screenshot and even teasing us with the fact that he's keeping the details secret for now. So I figured we'd take a look at the screenshot so you can figure out how this mode might work. The only thing I have is, I mean, it looks like a whole bunch of pieces are going to drop in from above, and it looks like you can bust at least the wooden ones open and to form combos. So maybe it's combo based, like you get a trophy reward for, you know, getting a certain amount of combos or something along those lines.
I think you're on the right track there. I wasn't sure if the those blocks were coming in from the side or from above, but it looks. I think you're right there. They're coming from above. I think what it might be is that you get points for breaking these open. There might be even special blocks, but we see that bar below the score. So I assume, since this is called Trophy Rush, and this is probably a way to get trophies, that every time you fill up that bar, a new trophy will appear. And you have presumably 5 minutes to do it, because that's, well, 5 minutes to do everything in this game, apparently. So that's what I'm getting from it, but other than that, like, it seems odd that you're breaking open boxes in order to get points. So, yeah, I have no idea otherwise.
Yeah, I kind of have the same idea as you, Derek, where a new trophy appears every time you fill up that bar. The only other thing I can guess is that maybe each time you fill up that bar, it gets harder to fill up next time. So, and then, you know, with as the harder it gets, the rarer trophies you'll get when you actually do fill up that bar. But I really wish he wasn't keeping all the details secret right now, because I love collecting trophies. It's like an addiction for me, and I love the trophy-specific modes in Smash. And, like, I loved Coin Launcher. I thought it was fun until you stopped, you know, getting new trophies, of course. And I love that this is an entirely new idea, so I really want to find out more about this.
Yeah, I like the coin launcher mode, but what I also liked about that was it was completely different from Smash Brothers. I mean, it had really nothing to do with Smash Brothers, and I liked it as a change of pace. Whereas this seems to be very much based on Smash Brothers.
That's true.
Which, you know, might be a good thing, but it's definitely going to be less of a change of pace, I think, compared to, you know, Coin Launcher at least. But, you know, I don't know if it's going to be different in the Wii U version too, maybe, or maybe it'll be in both versions. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to say as of right now. I guess the big question is, what is that, like, wrench box for? Is that where the trophy's contained in, or is it something else?
It's probably a repair icon of some kind.
Yeah.
And so it's either going to be, if you can take damage, maybe it restores you, though I would think they'd use health for that. My initial thought would be it clears a playing field. So, because you have these big blocks here that you can't, I'm guessing you can't destroy, those, like, stone ones. Maybe the screen gets too cluttered with them, and you actually have to clear them out to some point, but maybe that resets your counter or something.
Yeah.
That could be. The only other idea I had is that maybe it contains items that you could use to help clear out more things at once.
Maybe, but I would think they would just use a standard, you know, box or something,
right.
or, you know, item box from Smash Brothers.
That's true.
Well, another thing, too, is I remember from playing at E3 that you do get coins from each match, like tokens from each match like you did in Brawl. So I'm wondering if there's, you know, an element where you bet some of the coins that you've collected, you know? Like you had to use the coins in Coin Launcher to get trophies. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of element here where you're using the coins in this mode somehow, where you know, I'm just, you know...
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, it could be taking an element from Kid Icarus Uprising.
That's true. Maybe before you even start.
Yeah, you bet so many coins, and it's harder, but you have a better chance of getting rare trophies.
Yeah.
That definitely could be the case. Now, what do you guys think about the stage itself? Doesn't it look a little bit like it could be the Final Destination version of Battlefield?
I didn't actually.
Yeah, I noticed the background was Battlefield, but I didn't even assume that it was Final Destination. I don't know if that is the Final Destination version because the platform seems awfully small, but I mean, it could be.
I think I just assumed it was Battlefield, but yeah, maybe it is the FD version.
Yeah. I don't know. Alright, moving on to Thursday, we get a look at, or a better look, or more information rather, about Pac-Man's standard special move being Bonus Fruit. So apparently it's a chargeable move, and you'll be able to, as you charge it, the fruit actually cycles through the various ones from the Pac-Man game itself in order, becoming presumably stronger, but at the least each one has different attributes, different characteristics and movement patterns when you throw it. So we saw some of this in the trailer, I think, and in the match that Sakurai fought in, and I think it looks really cool. It seems like there's just gonna be a ton of variety with this move. Not terribly dissimilar to Game & Watch's hammer move or standard special move.
Yeah. I mean, I've been working on an analysis for Pac-Man all day, and it should be up later today, actually. So I've been really looking at this thing because this is actually where a lot of the Namco cameos are coming from, and it seems to have a lot of interesting elements to it, but what's very interesting about is the fact that it cycles through all this. And you mentioned how it's kind of similar to Game & Watch's hammer, where you just strike it once and it has 1 of 9 possibilities. It is kind of like that, but the fact that you have to cycle through means that you basically, I have to assume that you can't move Mega Man while this is going on.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, Pac-Man. Excuse me. Thank you. The longer you wait, the more Pac-Man is just sitting there not really doing anything. So it really comes down to how much time you have to get through all this, through all the changes. But it is a very interesting move.
Yeah, and it seems like he says here the charge-up period doubles once you cycle beyond the orange. So the food items or fruit beyond the orange must get exponentially more powerful.
Mm-hmm. One would hope. I mean, that's the thing with these Namco. We saw a little bit we see a little bit in the trailer about what these cameos can do. But it's a question of exactly what they'll do at this point. I don't want to get into it too much because of the analysis. I will say from what I've seen, this could be a very cool move, especially for classic fans.
I'm really just, I think they've done a really good job implementing Pac-Man from what we've seen. I really like that he seems to have so many retro-inspired moves, and he seems to be able to summon the whole of Namco to help him in Smash, which is really cool.
I do like that idea, yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like he has the entire Namco catalog, backing him up, which is really cool. And, I really couldn't have... I was kind of wondering before he was revealed how they were going to possibly put, kind of work him into Smash, and they've done it beautifully from what I can see. I'm also a big fan of kind of the crossover between retro pixelated icons and, newer games with more advanced graphics.
Yeah, it works super well. And yeah, I still like the fact that he still has little Pac-Man for eyes. Or Pac-Man for eyes, I guess. Yeah,
I'm actually really, really angry at you for mentioning that, because now I can't unsee it, and I feel like I'm being subjected to Pacception every time I look at it.
Well, just to clarify, Derek said that, to put all the blame on him originally.
Oh, was it Derek? Okay, well then, Derek, I'm mad at you, because I really can't unsee that now, and I never noticed it.
I heard it, I saw it years ago, but then I kind of forgot about it, because I haven't played a Pac-Man game in years. But then, you're looking at Pac-Man and analyzing it, and it's hard not to notice at that point.
No, it's true. I can't unsee it now. I hate it.
It's like the arrow in the FedEx logo.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm glad you knew about that one. Otherwise, you might hit me for a whole
No, I had to think about it for a second, but yeah.
Alright, so I think that covers it for Pac-Man pretty well, at least until your analysis, Derek. And that should be up, if not already, very soon. Moving on to Friday, though, we get a look at Donkey Kong's third standard special move, being the Storm Punch. So this ties into the whole, being able to customize the characters thing. And, evidently each character will have 3 moves, or 3 special moves for each, special slot. And, we get a look at one of Donkey Kong's here, where it looks like a giant, basically, gust of wind, or like a horizontal tornado, emits from his fist when he punches, which looks intense.
It looks intense, but it's also it's pretty much, to me, it looks about as useful as Mario's Flood. Because if you look at Luigi,
how dare you?
No, I'm serious. Because if you look at Luigi, his animation's not being interrupted at all. He's still true. In his little dash thing where he's punching weakly. So it doesn't interrupt anybody. It just sort of pushes them back.
But did you see the what was it called? The Gust Bellows in action during any of the matches at E3?
I saw it flying all over, but I didn't see somebody get blown away by it.
I don't remember for sure, but it did look pretty powerful to me. I mean, yeah, it doesn't deal damage as far as I can tell, but being able to even just push opponents away effectively, could be useful. I mean, the water pack just didn't do a very good job at it, whereas this one might.
It could be an amazing edge guarding move. I mean, just say you get someone off the edge, you just storm punch them over and over, and they'll have a much tougher time getting back to the stage with the whirlwind hitting them.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, you've actually witnessed how useful one of these like blowing moves can be, because you were talking about how great the air shooter was from Mega Man, because you could just like catch somebody from below and off screen them that way.
Yeah, I actually KO'd a lot of people off the top of the screen using the air shooter over and over again, so it can be surprisingly powerful. So I'm kind of, I don't know, just overall, I'm kind of, even though I don't really anticipate using them a whole lot, I'm looking forward to seeing what each character's special move variations are, because it seems like there's a lot of work going into them and a lot of new assets being created for them. So I'm wondering if we'll see completely new variations on special moves, such as, like, let's take Mega Man's recovery, for instance. His normal recovery is Rush Coil. You know, might we see for the variations maybe like Rush Jet or Beat, like maybe Beat will swoop down and carry Mega Man back? Ooh. Like, they all work differently, but I'm wondering if entirely new assets are actually being created for these special move variations. I don't know, I'm just looking forward to just kind of discovering what each character's 12 moves are. Even if I don't even end up using them very often, it'll be a fun thing to kind of explore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm curious about it too. I just don't know if I really care that much either. Like, I don't know if it's something I'm gonna even bother with, especially because you can't use these guys online.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could, the more I think about it, I guess I could see at least my friends and I, like, when we're playing in the same room, like couch multiplayer, I could see us kind of messing around with this and, kind of having fun with it in local multiplayer, because I know all my friends are getting this too, so I could see this maybe becoming a thing for us, like, kind of using some of the customized special moves and kind of messing around with that. It could be fun.
It very well could. It is the question is, but for a lot of modes, you are able to use these customization options, but you also can't use them for online, which makes sense. So unless you're like, you have to be really good at adjusting between like your customized moveset and the regular moveset, because I mean, these are two very different beasts, and because they look so different, I feel like it could really throw players from going from one mode to the other, at least at first. I still really like the idea. It's a lot better than I was picturing it in my head, because I was just sort of picturing like swapping moves between characters, and that's not the case at all. It's just actually unique moves for them, mostly. And I don't know, it's one of those things I'm just gonna have to take a closer look at and see if it actually comes down to me wanting to customize the moveset to make them better fit me. But again, if you're going online playing against strangers, you can't really carry those over, so it's almost feels a little pointless. I don't know.
Alright, well, I think that wraps up our Smash Brothers discussion, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date with everything we post, and of course keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on Smash Brothers Wii U and 3DS and other things gaming too. Alright, thanks guys, bye.